hello YouTube again. Here's my evil Minion burning about, I don't know, 1 gallon an hour or something like that. And it's doing really well. I'm just messing around with it at the moment. Instead of the flame all happening within the unit, I decided to port it to the flue at the back, and you know, just for the fun of it, just see if I could get some sort of an effect happening with the flame. Well, as you can see, no problem whatsoever. You can see a little bit of smoke from the far side of the Minion, and that's just the air coming back up the oil line, the tube going into it, feeding air and oil. I'm not worried about that because I'm overfeeding it at the moment. That's my fault, it's not the units. But you can see that there's flame going about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet into the air above the top of the flue, and it's whacking out a fair bit of heat here. Most of the flame, as I said, I've ported it towards the exhaust, towards the flue end of it, and most of the heat is happening there. However, there is still an awful lot of heat inside my little Minion. He's going to get a coat of paint and you know, be all yellow and blue and black, and you know, the goggles are a nice effect. I've actually put stove glass within the mouth part of it and within the eyes, the goggles, and when I put the stove back to burning within the unit, it illuminates really well in there, but obviously there's no flame comes out the exhaust pipe when I do that. So this particular Minion is going to be it's going to be hooked up so that it'll burn solid fuel, you know, when I'm using it as a patio heater, and at the moment obviously I have it set up for burning waste oil. It's very easy to get really anything to burn waste oil. It's just a matter of getting your vaporizing pot hot, give it some air, and the red hot pot ignites the vapor, and off you go, you've got combustion. This is not the most efficient way of burning waste oil. It certainly gets through a fair amount of it in a day if you wanted it to, but you can see the flame. It's not shy about going into the evening sky here. You can see the flame waving around all over the place. The wind here at the moment is in excess of 15 miles an hour. If you look at the bushes, you can see them moving. I'm on top of a hill here, which doesn't help, and the wind is kind of whirling around the house. But yeah, this little Minion, I started this particular project a couple of years ago. It sat in my shed. I intended to do it, and you know, the usual, I didn't get around to it. But there he is, he's all fired up. Now he's unpainted at the moment. I'm going to probably paint it tomorrow if I get a chance, or within the next couple of days in any case. So you can see the glass where I put, he has teeth, but they're not painted. It's rusted, and you can see the flame. No problem. So I'm just going to show you kind of heat outputs. That's if this thing will show up. Yeah, I think you can see the laser. So within the Minion, if I set the flame to happen within the unit itself, what happens is the top of this, where the laser is, will heat to about 500 degrees centigrade. I'll figure out what that is in Fahrenheit. And you can see, I don't know, I needed to insulate the outside of the flue, so I just threw on a little bit of 6-inch pipe over that square section, that 4-inch box that I used. So I'm just going to get a temperature reading from the top of the stove, and also from the exhaust pipe. So it's about 500 degrees just at the back of the stove where the flame starts into the flue, and a bit less at the top. But anyway, this is just for sport. Obviously you wouldn't be running a Minion or a stove, you know, in these conditions, and you wouldn't be running it like this. But certainly I wasn't afraid to let the fuel, you know, really pour into it. But having said that, you know, I don't have great height on the bucket of stuff, and you know, it's just, I don't think, even if I left the gate valve fully open, I don't think I'd get more than 1.5 gallons an hour out of that valve, because the oil is very thick, unfiltered, straight into the bucket, and you know, warts and all. I don't know, sometimes solids go down the pipe and block up. But that's just to see how forgiving this sort of setup is. Okay, so what I've got in there is I have a stainless steel pot on the bottom, just here. Above that there's just a standard car brake disc just sitting on it. Into that there's like a 3-inch pipe here, and again that's just sitting onto it. That goes into some square section box iron up here, which connects with the flue at the back. It all just pulls out. I have it set up so you know there's 3 components there, and I can just separate them out, which is why we've got kind of, you know, some flame and stuff getting out down the bottom, because they're not welded together. God, look at that flame go. And the only smoke I'm getting, oddly enough, like there's no smoke out of the flame. The only smoke is out of the feed going in. And what's happening is the pressure from the air feed going down is back feeding up the half-inch copper feed going down into it. Now that's easy to sort out. I'm just not bothered at the minute to try and do that. And this is only a temporary setup. I have a new burner unit made for this. I'm going to show it working without a fan, without being force-fed air, and it's a nice little unit. We'll see that working. Get that going this week. But check that out. And no smoke out of the flame. It's burning quite clean, and I can get that even better if I wanted to. All I would need to do is insulate this section of flue and make it a bit more like a rocket stove, so that its own heat, you know, is refracted within the unit. But anyway, that's if I wanted to do that. I'm not pushed to do that, because that's not where I'm heading with this particular stove. It's only meant to be, you know, patio heater, and not in this, guys. Anyway, no, definitely not. But an interesting little thing. I just you know, started messing with it there the other day, and decided I'd get it back together. So, you know, I get a few minutes, I throw some time at it. But that's as far with this end of it as I think I will go. After this is going to get tidied up a bit. I don't know if you can see it. I have down the bottom here there's a space where there's no door on it. I cut that section out because what I want to do is I want to make this thing work with solid fuel, and also with oil. Under that pot also I've got a 3-inch hole cut into that section. I put that separator plate in there, and again that's to facilitate, you know, other future projects. This wind is blowing the back of the head off me, so there you go. Yeah, that's a bit extreme, isn't it? Get too close to it. Extreme Minion. So look, if you're messing around with this sort of stuff, be very careful. You could end up hurt or worse, and hurt other people as well, so be very careful. Take this with a grain of salt, and you know, just for educational purposes. This is just me playing around. This is just a stand, kind of a table saw that I made with a 9-inch Makita saw onto like a Black & Decker Workmate or something, and we've got I don't know, 5-gallon bucket, half-inch feed down into a half-inch gate valve here, and it goes down into a setup that you'll have seen on my previous videos. Just a 1-inch malleable iron T with the middle drilled out of it so I can see. And as I say, the smoke is purely because the oil line is blowing air back up, or the air feed is blowing air back up the oil line. So yeah, an interesting little project. I might wait till it gets a bit darker and see how this works out. Okay, YouTube, in the video you can see over here, that's my vacuum cleaner. That's just an air supply into the stove so that I can run the forced air system on it. This is a bucket, I don't know, 2 or 3 gallons, and that's a half-inch pipe, and it's the oil line into the system. This vacuum cleaner hose goes into a 1-inch pipe which feeds air, 1-inch steel pipe which feeds air into that stove. You can see that flame is going 4 or 5 feet into the air, sometimes 6 feet into the sky. Here on the Minion, I put stove glass into his mouth so you can see, you know, some flames and what's going on within the stove. They're smoked up at the moment, but In his goggles, you've also got glass too. There's plenty of light out of that flame. It's yellow. There's no smoke out of the flame, but the smoke that you do see is just what's coming back up out of the oil feed into the system. So I could correct that, but I'm only doing this this little setup for the fun of it. So that's basically it. I'll open the stove so you can see inside. Okay, so that's the vaporizing pot you can see down here. And you can see that flame is it's really windy now, so I think I'll pack it in for the night. But plenty of flame, not an awful lot of smoke, except for what's coming out of that oil line, and that's easy to rectify. I'm not bothered at the moment. Okay, so the wind is cooling everything down. So that flue pipe at the back of the Minion, the pipe, square pipe you see coming out at a 45, should be red hot, but 20-mile-an-hour wind has a cooling effect on it, and it's not as hot as it would be. Having said that, there's plenty of heat out of it, and this is purely for fun. Okay, I'm not certain I can be heard over this. This is quite noisy now, this whole setup. But if you like this video and you want to see more of them, please thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and share. And you'll see this Minion painted up and all that sort of stuff in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.